Hi, I'm Tommy Jordan, Executive Director at NewDay Services for Children and Families in Fort Worth, Texas. Our goal here today is to introduce our organization, our engagement strategies, how do we keep fathers involved. With me is David Larry, an engagement specialist and a facilitator of our programs. NewDay as an organization is committed to helping parents understand that they're indispensable in the lives of their kids.
Right.
Their kids need them, their kids want them. In fact, their kids are their biggest fans. And
Right.
we want those parents to know that. We want them to know that they have the tools to build better lives for their kids. So that takes special engagement strategies to bring them in, welcome into a program where we can walk with them through a couple months of helping to strengthen them and their families. So David, as we talk about engaging, what's really critical when you reach out and as a first point of contact from a court system or to someone in the community who's expressed an interest in our classes?
Well, Tommy, one of the things we want to do is let the fathers know that we're here to help them and that they matter. We make positive assumptions about the dads that they love their children, and by doing that, they automatically know that this is not some organization or someone who's judging them, but they're genuinely concerned about them and their family and helping them reunite or walk through whatever system they're going through.
I think the greatest slogan on commercial history as far as engaging me as a viewer has been Home Depot's. You
Right.
can do it, we can help. And as
That's
someone
exactly
who loves
right.
to work with my hands, that was engaging to me.
Right.
And so now, even after years since they've used that slogan, when I think of Home Depot, I think of you can do it, we can help. And I always thought that would be a great slogan for NewDay to use, but it's already taken.
Right.
But really, as we engage people in the community, moms and dads, and in this case, fathers,
Right.
our initial engagement goal was for them to feel that, like David said, we believe that they can do it. We think they have all that they need. We can help in that process. And so we structure our engagement strategy from beginning and then through our curricula engagement. We have 10 weeks that are designed
Right.
to bring them into a conversation, to highlight their voices, to get them working with other men, talking through real life situations.
Exactly.
We say unless the curriculum is highly engaging, highly relevant, highly interactive, and highly relational, then it's not adult education. And so part of keeping them engaged in a process, in a curriculum, is making sure that it's relevant, relational, and interactive with other men. What advice would we give to other organizations looking to keep fathers and participating in their services?
I think one of the first things we want to make sure they do is to let them know that you care about the fathers and their children, and that fathers matter. One of the things that many fathers who come to us say is that they don't feel like they matter. That if you're going to be doing any type of father engagement, you need to let them know that. And everything that you do needs to be around the children. That it's centered around making sure that the children are the center of everything that we do, the curriculum, and even the father engagement. That we're making sure that that's why we're there, and why the men are there, that they're there because of their children.
And ultimately, children are the greatest incentive.
Yes.
We've explored incentives. And
Yes.
at this point, all we do is provide transportation
Right.
assistance where appropriate, because children, our ability to help them connect with their kids on a more meaningful level is the greatest incentive for them to be a part of the program.
Right.
But also knowing that we can help them with practical supports in the community.
Right.
So many of our parents are coming through the child welfare system.
Yes.
They're coming through the child support courts.
Right.
And so they're lacking very tangible resources
Correct.
to help them move forward. And so if I have a curricula that is really good, which we do,
Right.
and I see their knowledge and their skills and their attitudes are coming along, but they have an arrear that they're never going to pay off
Right.
with the resources they currently have. Or they're sleeping in their car, or in their transitional housing, or they're sleeping at the homeless shelter. They're not going to make much progress. If I've got some concrete supports and connections in the community that we can actually walk them to and introduce them, that makes a world of difference.
It does make a difference because so many fathers don't know where to go. And by walking them through that or walking them to those various agencies or groups that can help them with whatever that situation is, makes a world of difference because that's a burden that's been lifted and now they can focus on on the children and doing the things they need to do to get their families back together. Yeah, we
That's
say a
right.
lot, Tommy, that we want to help the father he wants to become. And that's important. Not the father we think he needs to be, but the father he wants to become. And by doing that, we help him value himself, and that he becomes the man that and the father that he needs to be for his children. And so we just help facilitate by meeting with him weekly, by calling him weekly. We do that. We engage them not just in the classroom for 2 hours, but we're also calling them on a weekly basis, asking them, hey, are there issues that's going on in your life that we can help you with? Just being that voice, that listening voice that many men don't have. And so that's the engagement that happens. That's that mentor navigation that happens that we do here at NewDay that needs to happen, because it's not just a program that these men are in. It's relations, and we're about relational building and relational change.
And part of that, in that peer group, is we want to make certain that their voice is heard.
Yes.
And so the better we can do peer grouping, the better we do cooperative grouping activities, the
Yes.
better we do debriefing and reflective dialogue in the course of our curricula, the more their voice is going to be heard as a group. You know, they already have the answers.
Oh, yes.
And we've seen that over and over. They have the answers corporately. When they hear each other reflect some of their same values and their same ideals, they really lock on to it.
And I think
it's not us saying it.
Right, and I think in many cases these men have never had an opportunity to say anything. And if they do, their voice is not valued. And so it's so important that when you do this program, or when they're in your classes, or when they're coming to your groups, that you make sure that they're valued and that they have a voice and their voice is heard.
You know, we can't give anyone value. They already have it.
That's right.
It's our job to acknowledge that value, highlight it, and raise it up to a standard where they can see it and realize that they're indispensable in their children's lives.